I was the biggest koi pond installer in the United States.
Wow.
Bar none. And somebody else said they were, but we really were. And all that business died like in one single day.
Oh my
like,
God.
you know, Bear Stearns, whatever, they went, you know, down and like, hi, we want to cancel. Hi, we want to cancel. Hi, we want to cancel.
Oh my God.
And so I went, okay, well, we've got a couple $100,000 in the bank. We'll be okay. It went away so fast.
And if you don't know, I'm blowing up like you thought I would. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. And if you don't know, I'm
Welcome to the Deals in Aloha podcast, where we talk about real estate deals, hope to leave a lasting impact with our audience, and of course, spread aloha.
Gee.
You can find us on all social media platforms at Kamohai and Tristyn. Please like, subscribe, follow us, and let's go.
Let's go. So today we have Mark McMahon. You have an extensive background and a very interesting one. As a contractor, a real estate agent, an investor, and you combine all your skills to basically create income from listings, flips, rentals, and you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, really long time.
Really long time.
It's time to retire.
And we've met a handful of times, maybe 3 to be specific,
Yeah.
but we followed each other, and I think it was instantly just like gravitational, and it was just cool. So,
I remember when we met up at that meetup, you and Yuko just kind of glommed onto each other because it's like, does he do the same things on design that it's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because you and your wife work together, and we work together.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that dynamic instantly just had us connect. And
Totally. Yeah.
because we're a different breed of human, right? To be
If
able
you
to
can-
work.
To sleep with a person that you work with or actually are partners with,
Yeah.
is the dynamic there is,
Yeah.
it's very difficult. I would say it's a very small percentage of people that can do it, right? Do you
Exactly.
guys agree?
No,
Oh,
100% agree.
Yes.
100% agree.
And then like still be able to hang out and have fun,
Yeah.
not want to kill each other, laugh. You know what I mean?
Are you
Like,
guys best friends?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Yeah.
So I
So
think
are
it
Yeah.
has to start there.
Yeah.
And that's super important.
Yeah.
But you just don't hear a lot about couples that are able to do it long term, right?
Yeah.
You hear about couples together, they're not together 5 years later,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
they're in business together. But
Yeah.
I think we'll dive into that a little bit later.
We will.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, let's just jump in. First question. How did you get into real estate?
It's interesting because it wasn't something we wanted to pursue. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't something we ever even looked at. I'm like, with my construction background, that's all I've ever done since I was 12. You know, I'd started working with my dad in construction, and real estate wasn't on the radar. I didn't know anything about investing or anything. But when you lose everything, which we did in 2007, 2008, you look around for things, and the funny thing is you look for the get rich quick things. That's the first thing you look for. It's like, okay, how can I make quick money?
How
'Cause
can I
we're
make
broke.
money? Yeah.
Yeah. I got to buy groceries. I got to
Yeah.
buy, pay for utilities and things like that, pay for gas.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for something that I could do to get rich. And I had gotten my contractor's license. I had that already, but I had got my real estate license, a couple years before that, and sold a few houses. And I was like, this is interesting. Not a lot of stress. It seems pretty easy. But at that point, everything dried up. So someone invited me to a meeting, and I don't know if you guys know my backstory, but we literally lost everything.
I think I've
In
heard
2007,
heard
2008.
you say, but I don't know.
No,
like,
it was so bad. It was so bad that Yuko took Lucas, he was very young then, to Japan, and I honestly didn't think she was going to come back.
Wow.
Because I was always a good provider, always had a business. She was a landscape contractor. I was a general contractor, and actually I was in the koi pond business, believe it or not.
Wow.
No way.
I was the biggest koi pond installer in the United States.
Wow.
Bar none. And somebody else said they were, but we really were. And all that business died like in one single day.
Oh,
Wow.
my
Like,
God.
So
Bear
nuts.
Stearns, whatever, they went, down and like, hi, we want to cancel. Hi, we want to cancel. Hi, we want to cancel.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I went, okay, well, we've got a couple $100,000 in the bank. We'll be okay. It went away so fast.
Oh, I'm sure.
And the cars got repossessed. We embarrassingly had to file for bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had always been a good provider. And I lost my mojo, lost my confidence. And so I would drive around and I was drinking and just doing stupid things.
Right.
Yep.
House didn't get repossessed because it took so long back then. It
Yeah.
took like 3 years. And then eventually Yuko said, Mark, either you figure something out oh, I'm going to have to do something. And I knew what that meant.
Right.
Yeah.
So the day she left for Japan, Mom sent her a ticket for her and Lucas to go to Japan. The day she left, I said, all right, I'm not going to drink anymore. And I've 16 years, haven't.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I drink non-alcoholic beer. Still tastes good. And I said, I'm going to find something. So I started calling everybody I knew. And I ended up calling a title rep named Cappy Pidwell. Hi, Cappy. God bless you.
Yeah.
I don't even talk to her
Props all the
anymore, but always give her props.
Yeah.
And she invited me to this investment club for women. So I went to that. I sat next to a guy that was flipping mobile homes, and he said, you should try it. And I said, yeah, I'm broke. I may as well try to flip something. And so I went out for the next 2 weeks, and I hit up every single mobile home park in Orange County, getting to know all the little old ladies that were managing them. And I finally found one that would sell me something. She sold me a mobile home for $100. I negotiated free space rent for 3 months. And I went to my mom and said, Mom, I need to borrow $5,000. And that was, by the way, that was the last $100 in our bank account.
Wow.
Imagine that phone call when I call Yuko in Japan and tell her that I spent our last $100. And I'm not joking on this. This is
that's
God's
heavy.
truth.
Yeah.
God's truth.
Yeah.
And she freaked out a little bit, but then I started talking to her about what I did, and she actually came back.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I had signed her up for a flipping or wholesaling class because I knew my follow-through is really bad with detailed type stuff.
Yeah.
So she came back, started taking that class after going, what the heck did you do?
Yeah.
And we ended up getting 2 wholesale deals in a month.
Wow.
Got that mobile home before that, got it flipped, made 14 grand on that, made $3,000 a piece for those wholesale deals, which to us was just astounding.
Everything.
Of course.
Yeah, it's everything.
Astounding money.
Yeah.
We went on to lose money on a couple more deals. And, for the first year, it was really, really rough.
Yeah.
We made no forward progress,
like
but
up, down,
we
up,
learned
down.
a lot. Yeah. Yeah. And then we did a good one. We made 30 grand, and then it just kind of took off from there. And then we have had stinkers since then.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that's what got us into it. There was no YouTube, there was no Instagram saying, hey, you need to be a real estate investor. Nobody was talking about it. We just stumbled on it. That's
Wow.
it. Could have been anything
crazy.
else. It could have been something else, but this was what it
That's
was.
just what
Yeah.
it was at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. So that's how it went.
Well,
Yeah.
you hit rock bottom,
Oh no.
or was it below that?
We were digging a hole.
Wow.
We were digging a hole, and there's a saying that I learned during this time is like you need to just throw the shovel out, right? You're digging this hole.
Yeah,
you're
you
digging
just
this
keep
hole,
digging the
Stop.
hole.
just
Keep
throw the
digging
shovel
it.
out,
Yeah.
and then climb out. And that's what I did. That's what I did, and it just took hitting bottom to do it. But you know what? The best thing that ever happened to me, I'll get choked up, is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hitting the bottom, the hardest thing I ever went through, and it was the hardest thing I ever put her through.
Yeah.
Turned out good.
Yeah.
It turned out great, I would say. And your relationship, I'm assuming, like, if you guys can come back from that, which not many marriages do,
Yeah.
it's unbreakable.
Well, I mean, she might kill me someday. I'm still that
Right.
same guy that, hey, let's do that. No, let's do that. And she has to rein me in a lot.
Well, that's the yin yang. That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
balancing
yeah.
of it all, right?
Yeah.
But I'm serious. I think of my parents and what they went through. And a lot of the times when it comes to money problems or incarceration, families don't come back from that. And there's a very small percentage of families, marriages that do come out on the other end that much stronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I mean, I can relate so much to what you just said, how that was probably the hardest time in your life, right?
It was.
Right, it was. But you look back on it now and you're like, I am grateful that happened because it changed the trajectory of my life. You did that. And I can totally relate because I can look back to a single moment where I made the choice and the decision to do that. And most people, it was standing in front of a judge and he was telling me, hey, you're going to go to jail for 10 years or you can go to this treatment center for 2 years. And I made the decision to go to the treatment center, right? And I can see that so clearly. And most people would be like, dude, that sucks. But I look back on it now and I'm like, that helps my superpower now. Now, dude, everything can be going wrong. And I think back to that singular moment,
not
and
as
I'm
bad
like,
as that.
So true.
Right.
So true.
you know what I mean?
So true.
Yeah. So I
And-
can totally relate.
And it's funny, and now in retrospect, being 15, 16 years later, I look back to all the things we did during that year we were doing that. We were like doing a lot of tent camping at campgrounds that I wouldn't even think about going to now. And we had so much fun.
Yeah.
We were so poor. So anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do
That's
get choked up.
crazy.
So I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah. We're good.
No. And I'm okay talking about it,
Yeah.
but I have a I cry easy. So.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, well.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the point where you dug yourself completely out and you had this shift where you're like, wow, we are going to be okay?
I would say 2 years after we started.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I mean, I think it's probably a good thing to talk about Instagram, YouTube, TikTok
Totally.
a little bit because there is such a disconnect between reality and the fantasy life that you see people living. And I'm not talking about necessarily even the guys that are driving the Lamborghinis and doing that. We all know that's a bunch of BS,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's so obvious, but the young people fall for it, which is sad.
Yeah.
But the people that, and I know so many of these people, and you do too.
Yeah.
You know the reality of what's going on behind, and that's why I like to talk about it. I mean, we have arguments about real estate. We have arguments about where money's going, and we have bad days, and we have these phenomenally wonderful days. It's like this.
And
100%.
to paint a picture that it's not is just insanity to me.
It is because people get into it that don't have as much intestinal fortitude as we might have.
I like that intestinal
Yeah.
fortitude.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they're going to fail.
Yes.
And they're going to lose their marriage.
Yes.
And
Right.
they're going to lose their house. And they're going to lose everything.
Yes.
100%.
So I think people need to step back and think about it. Is this right for me? Because it isn't for everybody.
Right.
Investing is for everybody. It really is.
But making it like an active business where
yeah.
it's not.
Where you add the flipping and all the other things, the components that come along with it.
Yep.
That's not for everybody. And that's
No.
okay.
I
That's
know.
just so
Yeah.
okay.
Exactly.
Totally. I feel like especially for the kinds of things for people that are like really, really struggling and they're like, I want to get rich quick, right? And they look on social media and they're like, oh my gosh, it's real estate. It's a no-brainer. Look at these guys. They're making so much money. Their life
Right.
is beautiful. And that's what sells, right? So that's why those people are doing that. But for a lot of people, they're not going to understand that right off the bat, right? And what I see all too often is because of that, sometimes somebody will get started, their first deal becomes their last deal, but they're not only losing their money, they're not only losing their marriage, they're losing other people's money as well, right?
Oh,
And
that dreaded private money thing.
100%.
Become so popular.
Yeah. And I do think that it needs to be talked about so much more.
Yes.
Just the difficulties of doing what we do, the weight we carry, the responsibility we carry. I don't think people going into it understand that fully at all.
No.
Well, I 100% agree with you, but there are people that are made for this.
100, I agree.
There's at least a couple of million people in the United States that
Yeah.
are made for this, and there's plenty of deals for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what about, let's say it's not for you, but you've got a good job, you work for Hawaii Electric, or you work for one of those big companies and you're making $150,000 a year,
Yeah.
working 40 hours a week.
Right.
Yeah.
They're in a better position to buy real estate than you and I, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody understands that.
No.
And everybody wants to quit their job, become investors. You don't have to flip.
No.
Right.
You can buy a house a year. So this is the dirty little secret about real estate. This is the cool thing about real estate. If you live like a pauper for 10 years, which everybody can do if they want to, and you buy a property every single year, you're financing it, you're not paying cash.
No.
At the end of 10 years, that property will have more than likely doubled, if not tripled, right?
Yes.
I think we
Yes.
can all agree with that.
Yeah.
So what if you borrowed some money? Let's say you hit retirement time. What if you borrowed a little bit of money from every property that you bought 10 years ago? So you're buying a property every 10 years. Let's say you want to borrow a couple $100,000 to live on every year. You start with the first property you bought 10 years ago. Then the next year you do the other property that you bought 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And every year you hit an anniversary of a property you bought 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And after 10 years, you're back to the same one and borrowing money against that. And guess what? You can live on $200,000 a year or more, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
as the property goes up in value, you can take more out.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Rents go up, values go up. So yes, your payment's going to go up, your cash flow is going to be a little bit less. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
That $200,000 is tax free.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're borrowing it.
Right.
And maybe along the way you're actually cash flowing too.
Yeah.
But I don't even buy properties for cash flow.
No.
I buy them so I don't pay taxes on
Yeah.
my flips
100%.
Yeah.
and on my
Yeah.
real estate income.
Exactly.
So this fallacy that you're going to go live off cash flow is just so wrong to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, that's a whole nother one
And,
too.
and I don't want this to be one of those things where I'm just dispelling all these myths to
Yeah.
everybody, because that's not why I want to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Number one, I want to talk to you guys because we have so much in common.
I know.
100%.
The pre-show conversation was
Yeah.
amazing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 But what happens is people like, oh, I'm going to live off cash flow. I'm going to buy all these houses and live off the cash flow. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Wait till 4 air conditioners go out on the first in 1 month.
Yeah.
And you're negative and your
Yeah.
$10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month goes to a negative 10 grand.
Exactly.
It happens all the time. But you can take what you make as a real estate investor through depreciation and appreciation, and you can pay very little taxes on the money you make from flipping or as a real estate agent or as
Right.
whatever you do, working for
Exactly.
Hawaii Electric
Yeah.
or a construction worker or a teacher, right?
It's just
Totally.
the power of real estate in general. There's not one way of doing things. There's multiple ways of doing things, right? Which
Yeah.
gives you options. The more options you have, the more decisions you can make that are right for you in whatever phase of life that you're in.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if flipping's not for you, cool, don't flip.
Yeah, I
know?
just choose to do it because the money's good.
Yeah.
But, there's that thing where, I think maybe it's getting to the point where maybe things are going to correct a little bit or a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I want to get caught holding the bag? I've got several $1 million or a couple $1 million worth of flips right now. No, not several anymore because I've been kind of pulling back.
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of
Yeah.
guts to do that, right?
100%.
So
Oh my gosh, really, computer? Ding, 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 ding.
I started doing that at 3:00 this morning. It's
Ding,
like, oh,
ding, ding,
come
ding.
on, West Coast time, people.
That's so funny. Okay, so you felt like you had you have reached, I guess, stabilization again.
Yes.
After 2 years. What happened
I was
next?
back to zero.
Yeah, like you.
Yeah, I was back to zero. I mean,
Okay.
we weren't by any stretch,
Yeah.
healed yet.
Yeah.
We were still down to that secondhand car that we bought after the other cars got repoed. I think I bought a little truck to work because I was running the jobs then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
And mentally.
Wow.
Then we ended up getting a house in Compton.
Okay.
We started flipping mobile homes, and then I got this deal in Compton,
Okay.
California. If anybody's ever heard of that town.
Everybody knows Compton. Yeah.
Straight
So
out of
Compton and yes,
Yeah.
yes. So Compton and Watts became the place we worked because
Okay.
that was what we could afford. We were
Okay.
buying houses for $100,000, putting in $30,000, and selling them for $175,000, $180,000. I mean, and that was gargantuan money for us at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And still gargantuan money.
great
I mean,
money.
make
It
25,
totally
30
is.
grand is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that happened, and so we we were doing like 3 or 4 flips at a time,
Okay.
and it was getting to be a headache. We did one, we partnered with somebody, and we put it in his name because of
Yeah.
reasons I won't get into.
Yeah.
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 We bought it with our private money, and we had to put it in his name to get a good deal on it.
Yeah.
And he ended up owing payroll taxes through this nonprofit that he ran.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
is right because it came up when we sold it.
Right.
So we were about ready to close escrow, and escrow called and said, "Mark, I don't know if you knew this or not, but
Right.
there's a lien on this. I mean, this guy's got a lien against him,
Oh man.
and so we're gonna have to satisfy that lien." I said, "Oh, okay, how much is it?" And it was like 30 or 40
like the
grand.
whole
And I
profit.
said,
Dude,
"Yeah."
like everything.
Oh, I mean, beyond.
Yeah. Beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we ended up having to hold that house, so I had to rent it out. Guess what? It cash flowed.
It cash flowed.
Cash flowed.
You're like, hallelujah.
No, I was like,
So you became a landlord by mistake?
I
Yeah.
didn't want to be a landlord.
Right. Yeah. By
No.
mistake.
Yes, I didn't want to be a landlord. It was scary, and I didn't want to deal with tenants and all
is
that
a
other
whole
stuff.
thing,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is a whole thing.
Yeah.
And we ended up cash flowing, and about a year later, I worked with the IRS diligently, and we finally ironed it out.
Yeah.
He went his way, I went my way,
Yeah.
and we ended up keeping the house.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And I ended up selling that house and 1031 exchanging it into a duplex, and then it became a 12 unit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow,
how
and
did
this
it
was
become a
crazy.
12 unit?
It grew.
Yeah.
It had babies.
It had babies. No, I just did 2 1031 exchanges. I went
Yeah.
from
I love
one
that.
to the next to the next.
So
Yep.
for the common person listening to this, what is a 1031 exchange?
So a 1031 pretty much kicks the can down the road on any taxes you may have to pay.
Yeah.
When you sell a house, when you sell a house, whatever profit you make above your basis, which is what you paid for it and put into it, you have to pay capital gains on it.
Yep.
And it can be anywhere from 12 to 25. It just depends on what your income levels are. It's
Different
Yeah.
for everyone.
it's
Yeah.
different for everybody's income level.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you 1031 exchange it, you can, like I said, kick the can down the road. You're still liable for that gain, but that's only if you ever sell whatever property in the future you sell and don't reinvest the money within a certain time frame.
Right.
So if you just keep playing that 1031 game, you'll never pay the
Never
gain.
pay taxes.
Right?
Yeah, on the
so
gains.
we started off on that house with zero, right? We'd put zero money into it of our money.
Yeah.
So we borrowed the money, private money, which I don't. Well, can
It's
you
a whole
remind me?
nother conversation.
Yeah, I don't want to. I just want to gloss over the.
of
I don't want to
course.
gloss over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did the flip,
Yeah.
made cash flow.
Yeah.
Everything was great. We sold it, made enough money to put a large down payment down on a duplex in another part of Compton. All right, so we turned this into that duplex.
Yes.
Also in Compton. And we inherited tenants.
Oh,
and
fun.
we got rental agreements from them. They were excited about a new landlord. One of the garages I couldn't get into to look at when we bought it. It was a two-car garages and two-bedroom house units.
Yeah.
And we get the keys, and I go over there and I talk to the tenants like, all right, here's our rental agreement. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll sign those. And I said, okay. Rent's due on the 1st, and it's like, okay. And I was looking, I left those guys, and I went over to the garages to kind of peek through the window, and I noticed that through one of the windows I saw a kitchen. So we had another tenant I didn't know about, and the garage had been converted. So when I bought it, in my defense, the owner said, look, we've got all of our furniture in there. We're going to move it out the day before we close escrow.
Right.
So you can look at the other garage. And I said, yeah, that's fine. So we had 3 tenants.
Nice.
Wow.
They all stopped paying rent that first month.
Oh.
A law firm,
No way.
they go around and they knock on doors of people that live in rentals, and they say, hey, look, do you want to get some free rent?
No way.
Oh yeah. And they say, we'll represent you, we'll get you money, and we'll get you free rent. And so for 4 months, we played the court game on all
Wow,
three
that's crazy.
units.
Gosh.
Finally got them out though. We got people in.
Yeah.
And then we ended up selling that one, and then we ended up buying a 12-unit apartment complex in Sacramento, California. And we owned
okay.
that for many, many years.
Wow.
And so we recently sold that and bought went back to a duplex again, but it's in Orange County.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So close to home.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we've come full circle. But we didn't pay anything on any of those gains.
Just 1031.
Just 1031.
Yeah.
Infinite returns right
It's
there.
infinite returns unless you end up selling it and cashing out.
Right.
Right.
So it's like depreciation. Like you can depreciate your properties, but when you sell it, if you don't 1031
Depreciation
exchange
recapture.
it, yeah,
Yes.
you got to recapture.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Which is
Nobody talks about
Nobody
that.
talks about
No,
that.
not
We
at
are
all.
not CPAs. Go talk to your CPA about that. But
well, I'm a CPA and attorney and a rocket scientist.
And a rocket
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I've got.
But I mean, isn't that the truth with taxes in general? Like most tax strategies are just kicking it down the road.
It
You
is.
kick it down
Yeah.
the road.
Yeah. It
is.
They
It
don't
is.
just disappear
No.
at all.
Well, they do.
Okay.
They
Let's
do.
talk about that.
They do. Well, we put things in a trust.
Okay.
All right. So then the transfer goes over to our kids or whoever we decide to leave things
Yeah.
to. And then it just keeps kicking it down the road.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
the
Yeah.
one good thing about setting things up correctly is that your kids don't have to deal with it either.
right.
Of course, we don't intend on leaving anything to our kids. We're going to spend the money on us.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, if it makes more sense to keep the properties and they get it, then that's what we'll do.
Right.
But
Right.
our goal is not to
Have them inherit a bunch of cash.
or properties.
Properties.
Ah.
Yeah, no, we're not concerned about that. I don't think that them looking forward to that is healthy.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, this is just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
one man's opinion.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
I want them to be able to do their own thing.
Yeah, and not feel any weight. Like, what if they have
Yeah.
no interest in real estate whatsoever?
Or what if they are waiting for dad to die?
Yeah. What if
You
they're
know.
waiting to get that stuff?
Yeah.
And it just hinders them from doing
Right.
anything with their
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah, what an empty existence
Yeah.
for them. So
Interesting.
they all know that they may or may not get anything. So live life to the fullest now.
Now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good seed to plant regardless.
Yeah, at first it was cool. It's like, hey, you guys are going to get all this.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And now it's like, now mom and I are going to spend it. And, and it's like, okay.
We're gonna live life now.
Get to work. Figure
Yeah.
out what you want to do
So
in
how
life.
many doors have you accumulated over time? Like, are you?
Well, okay. Understand this, and I don't mean this in a mean way. I don't do door count
Okay.
only because I don't look at door count as a barometer, because I know
You
people that
shouldn't.
own 1,000 doors
Yeah.
Yeah.
that make $50 a month on
I
each
know.
one.
It means
Right.
nothing.
So I was up to 50 doors at one time.
Yeah.
And we've throttled that back to probably 23 or 24 now. More expensive properties in better areas.
Yeah.
So he and I have always said that, where it was like, it was never a door count thing for
Yeah.
us for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Because I could own 10 doors and make the same amount as that person.
Yes.
And it's less liability for me. It's less stress
Less
for
work,
me. I don't
less
care
stress.
about the door count.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
care about the cash flow.
But I always ask the same thing to people, though, because I'm curious what fuels their lifestyle.
Yeah.
What did it take to get to the lifestyle that they've got? And even for us, our cash flow isn't that great. Even though our debt ratio is 50% overall.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that's
right,
really
right.
good.
Which is
Or
really
less.
good.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Campfire Real Estate, Dan,
Yeah.
the older guy that's my age, 6 months younger bastard. But his properties are all paid off.
That's
Welby's
unreal.
probably about a 50% debt ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Gerald is probably about a 30 or 40% debt ratio. Those are the four guys,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
four of
yeah.
us that are on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Welby and I probably have the highest debt ratio, but it doesn't matter. We're
Yeah.
all pretty conservative.
Right.
But when people look at property ownership, I think it's more important to look at it as what it does for you as far as taxes are concerned. Because people
Exactly.
don't
Yeah.
like to talk about that. It's
Right.
not sexy.
Well,
Right.
people don't like to talk about money, period.
Well, they want to talk about getting rich.
Yes, that's what it is.
They don't want to talk about the negative aspects
They don't
of
want to talk
money.
about real life. You
or
mean?
nuts and bolts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's the sexy thing too.
Yeah.
It's like cash flow. I have a bunch of properties.
I
I
have
cash flow
500
this
doors.
much.
I know.
Yeah.
I have 500
It's-
doors.
and the door number is always people hold that on such a high pedestal. You know what I mean? But they
that-
don't talk about the fact that they're in a syndication and own this much of it.
God, I'm glad you brought that
You know
up.
what I mean? Like, you have 10,000
glad you brought
doors,
that
but
up.
you only owe a little piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't put a lot of weight on the
that.
door count at
No.
all. I don't think it's important. But the big thing with the depreciation and taxes for rentals it's not sexy, but it's not even really talked about that much.
But
You
that's
know what I mean?
because
where the actual wealth is created is how
yeah.
much money you keep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, because that's what I was going to say. You stole my thunder, but thank you. It's not what you make, it's what you keep.
Yeah, love that.
So, I can make $1 million on a flip. How much am I going to keep?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I
Right.
did it in less than a year, I got short-term gains. If I did it in more than a year, I got long-term gains. So
Yeah.
if prices are going up, it might behoove me to keep that for a year and just kind of
Yeah.
move along slowly instead
Right.
of fast.
Right.
Or it might be better if I go really, really fast.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's all about what we keep.
What we keep.
It's all
Yeah.
about what we keep. And again, if I get cash flow at the end of the year, it's great. But I'd rather see my cash flow low and see my income from real estate sales
Yeah.
up
Yep.
and some other income
And
sources
my
that
tax
we have.
bill really low
Yeah.
or zero.
It sucked. It sucked last year. I had to write a check.
We had to write a check too.
I didn't have to do that for many years.
Wow. See, that's the goal.
You buy enough properties every year, you
Yeah.
can kind of
Like, and that's, okay, well, let's talk about that too, is
Yeah.
finding a good CPA that understands that.
Yeah.
Was that difficult for you?
We went through a couple people.
Right.
But I think CPAs are important, but a really good tax preparer is we had a CPA and we had a tax preparer, and now we've got a tax preparer that is well versed
Okay.
in all things
Okay.
financial.
Yeah.
And that has been the best move we've ever made. And I'm not saying it's the best move for everybody, but we have 2 or 3 attorneys at any given time that we work with. And Pat, whom we work with, we pay her a retainer every month so that we can call her
Whenever
Yeah,
you need
whenever.
to.
whenever we have a question.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
every move we make has ramifications,
100%.
right?
Yeah, you want
I
to
sell
have a
this.
third party looking at you
Yeah.
and viewing things through not your emotional lens, right?
Yeah. So it's the team is important, but you know, LLCs, teams, S corps, C corps, all that stuff is super, super important. But let's just knock it back down to the basics. though.
Yes.
That's not all that important when you start.
Not when you're starting, right?
It's when you're up and going. And I think most of the people that we end up talking to are trying to get started.
Yes.
Right.
And they get caught up in the minutia of setting up a business because they're listening to a lot of noise, right? It's like, you need an LLC, you got to have this, you got to have that. And I get so many people, it's like, I set up my LLC, I've got my attorney, I've got my contractor, I just want
None of that matters.
have you gotten a deal yet? No,
Found
I'm not
a
looking
deal.
for deals yet. We're still
setting everything
yeah,
up.
we're setting everything up. It's like, you don't need to set anything up until you get a deal.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't want to make it sound like I'm real negative on everybody else, but everybody has some sort of an agenda,
Yeah.
and it's nice not to have one. I don't care. I don't care.
So tell me this: did that come with your experience
Yes.
and time?
Yes.
Or you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I mean,
Because you've seen a lot of things,
I
you've met
don't-
a lot of people
this is the crazy thing. I don't know a lot of people that have lasted
this long in the industry.
16,
Yeah.
17 years
Years.
in the industry because it's hard,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
Or
it's
I'm just-
heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And like you said, it's like this: up,
Yeah.
down, up, down, up,
Yeah.
down.
I mean,
Yeah.
every day I get up going, okay, what do we got today?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you
Yeah.
run to clear your head. What do you do
I
to clear your head?
I walk on my treadmill.
Okay.
I'm working on running again. I really, really enjoy pickleball.
yeah,
really,
we're
really enjoy
pickleballers.
I'll destroy you guys.
I don't know if you'll
We
destroy
gotta play
him.
then.
You
Oh.
might destroy me. I'm not that coordinated.
Oh no, you have no idea how badass I really am.
No, I don't.
let's
I don't.
do
I
it
don't play. I don't.
Are you kidding? I'm gonna get my ass kicked. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, let's play.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
down.
we
No,
will.
let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm more of just like I need to move my body, whether that's stretching, whether that's going outside. Like
Yeah.
I just need to move my body. You
And,
know
how,
what I mean?
and I don't want to turn the interview around and by me asking questions, but I
No,
find
it's
this
fine.
so amazing because I think in the beginning when we start investing, we kind of throw everything out the door.
Nothing else matters.
We don't fish anymore. We don't go on long walks on the beach. It's like, no, that's no time for that.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to make time for that stuff
Yeah.
when you're starting. You know, there's a startup period, I get it. But
Yeah.
if you want to stay sane, if you
Yeah.
want to stay in the business, you got to have some time.
We talk
Yeah.
about this all the time because I've hit burnout. I've wanted to quit. I remember we made our first $1 million and I felt nothing. I didn't care.
What's next?
Exactly. I didn't care. I was anything. I was depressed. I told him I want to quit. I'm not happy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I think we got into real estate because we needed money. We were in debt. We were struggling. And that's okay,
Amen.
you know, to get into real estate, to want money. But the purpose has to shift at a certain point and you have to go back to, everyone talks about it like your why, but I'm talking like really getting personal with it, not
Yeah.
just the surface level why, you know what I mean? And then going on this journey of self-discovery and what really makes you tick is so important because all that's breathed down everyone's neck in real estate, you'll see it with social media, is you gotta grind, you gotta hustle it out, you gotta wake up at 3 a.m.
that.
Yeah.
You gotta do
Seriously.
all that. You know what
Oh,
I
I
mean?
agree.
And he and I are like, fuck that.
Oh, no. But how long did you do it before you said, fuck that?
Well, I did that my whole life. I did that my whole adult life until I hit burnout in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, wait, something is really, really wrong. But I was in survival mode for so long.
Was it both of you?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
Mostly her.
Yeah, because
It was-
Yuko went through it too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just me. I was in survival mode. And at a certain point, when you reach a level of success, like you don't have to operate from that place anymore. You can operate from abundance. You can make better decisions, different decisions, you know? And it's still something that I struggle with the ups and downs, and there's ebbs and flows of business, but it's like you got to get back to what made you happy, and it's not going to be an external thing. It's not going to be the amount of money. It's not the door count.
No, real estate doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
Real estate drives you crazy.
It does
Yeah.
drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what it does for you financially is great.
It's
Eventually.
great. Yes.
Right.
Eventually.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to live your life. If you don't live your life, there's really no point. I think people give
Exactly.
everything up, and this is this grind mentality. I
hate that.
Gary Vaynerchuk, and God bless him. He built a brand that nobody can touch, but it's built on a fallacy. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't grind until you die. You live life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Live life. You
I
don't
agree.
need to have $1 billion.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't have $1 billion.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Well,
Yeah,
money's
not
just
quite.
a
Almost
tool,
there.
right?
Almost
it's also
there.
just a tool. It's not the
It is.
key to happiness.
It is. Well, I want to go back to what you said about when you guys hit $1 million. It was
Yeah.
almost depressing.
Yes.
How did you feel? I don't, like I said, I don't mean to turn around, but I find this,
No, this
There's
is
so
a
much
real life.
the correlations though. I mean, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that $1 million. And it was like,
Felt nothing.
no, I didn't feel a damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest problem is, and people say it all the time, is I'm always pushing the goalpost, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So, yeah, okay, we had our first $1 million year. I'm already on to like, okay, what's next? Are we doing 3 million next year? But I didn't feel, I
didn't
still
feel
don't
anything
feel,
changing.
this is the thing. I am the very even keeled person. I don't have really high highs, but I also don't have really low lows. Like
Yeah.
I am like this, but I'm not like the extreme.
I'm like this and
the
he's like this.
extreme.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm with you, and Yuko's with you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you one other question too. Mark the interview.
Yeah.
I'm so used to doing interviews
Yeah, of
and
course.
interviewing people.
I
Damn it,
love
let me ask questions. So, where do you spend most of your time, and where do you spend most of your time on the business? And I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there's the TV persona,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I know that's real.
Yeah.
But where do you spend most of your time when you're working during the day, and where do you spend most of your time when you're working during the day? And I'll tell you why you feel the way you do and why you feel the way you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shall I?
Yeah.
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 Oh, you probably already know the
I
answers
do.
to all that. I'm the certified paper pusher. I'm the one looking at all the stuff. I'm the one in the emails and with the contractors and dealing with the bullshit that comes from the day of flipping houses and private money and all that stuff. That's my side of the business.
Yeah.
His side of the business is helping people
Yeah.
and sourcing
I'm out
deals.
and about.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm out and about talking to sellers, like on the road, driving around,
Going to lunch and
Yep.
having fun, right?
talking story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I run all the job sites
Yep.
through general contractors now.
Right.
But Yuko handles the private money. Yuko and her assistant Yuko. We have 2 Yukos.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Really?
it's awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
No way.
Yuko 1 and Yuko 2? How do you?
Yuko M and Yuko U.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
yeah. And they do all of the financial stuff. They do bookkeeping. They do,
Yeah.
any type of media type stuff that we do anymore.
Yep.
Business cards and I mean everything, brochures and all the stuff that we do to run our business.
Yeah.
They do all that stuff.
The
and
back end.
they're hunched over a desk all day in an office doing that shit. Right?
Yeah.
Just like you. And I am out in the field checking on jobs. I'm on the phone talking to people. And both jobs are important.
Very.
Our job tends to be more fun and we're out moving around. Your job tends to be backaches, headaches, and I totally get it. And so we're always trying to outsource that stuff, but it never works because nobody cares as much as we do about it. And the details, financial details, are so important.
They're everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think as husbands, we really appreciate what you do, but it's hard for you to understand how much we appreciate it. Because it's
100%.
so miserable. Sorry to say, it's so miserable
not that fun.
what you do.
Yeah.
And after 16 or 17 years, Yuko said, I'm really getting burned out. And so I think it's something that people need to think about.
Yeah.
And I think we can't really take that off their shoulders because it's not our forte.
Yeah.
Do you really want us diving into the books all day and dealing with the emails?
Sometimes.
I know, but
Sometimes.
do you think we're capable is the question. And maybe he is, I'm not.
He is capable.
Okay, then
that's
you-
the thing. But and
then
I
you
think
suck.
my
Just-
Yeah, then I just suck.
Putting that
Yeah.
out there.
you are capable because he's ran a business himself and had to navigate all that
Well,
stuff.
as did I.
separately. You know
As
what
did I.
mean?
But this is
Oh yeah.
a little bit different.
What's nice though for me, and I will say that I'm the one at job sites, so like I do get to get out a little bit, and I
Good.
think that is my sanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then there's a week like this week, I didn't get to a job site this week because I was here
I
doing
think-
other
I
shit,
think-
and then I have the stress of not getting to that fucking job site.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily,
I
I have
think-
my brother to
Right.
be there.
Because we have a project manager who's
Mm-hmm.
also my brother-in-law that his sole job is to
Were you
run
guys
the
related to each
contractors.
other when you got married? Because it sounds like
Yeah, no.
I'm just joking.
I know.
But I'm kind
So-
of,
but
not really.
Maybe that's what it is because you're not at the job sites very much at all.
And you wish you were.
Your
I wish I
yeah,
was. I
your
wish I
your
was there
brother is
more.
at the
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
sites every day
I mean, that's what we
running
came
the
to do. So
right,
it's good,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah,
but
but
Yeah.
maybe even if you don't have to go there to just
still go.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I know people in their business too, where they like have a flipping business and they never go to job sites, and I'm like, how?
It's
How?
I don't know either.
it's Instagram life.
Yeah.
It's Instagram. I know people that flip stuff out of state, but I know what's going on behind the scenes because we did 300 houses in Memphis, Tennessee. 300.
No
That's
way.
a lot.
Well, we partnered with somebody.
Yeah.
He found the houses,
Yeah.
ran the construction.
Yeah, yeah. You
We
brought everything
we did the
else.
money.
Brought
and
all the
We did
money.
all the money and the buyers.
Yeah.
We sold all those that was our turnkey business.
That was a turnkey business. Yeah.
And we did 400 houses total.
Wow, that's
Wow.
crazy.
300 in Memphis and between LA and
How many were
Sacramento.
you guys doing at a time?
A bunch.
Yeah, just like
Wow.
a
Just too
bunch.
many.
Yeah.
Too many. It got
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
point where we ended up getting screwed by
Yeah.
the.
Well, let's dive into that because I
Yeah.
want to know like what you're currently focused on. What is your
Yeah.
sweet spot with
Yeah.
flipping or rentals or your retail side as
Yeah,
an
yeah.
agent?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
what
want
I-
to know that.
I'll tell you how I run my business
Yes,
now
please.
versus how I ran my business then.
Please.
And then you guys will want to do the same thing because it will get you out of the house.
Mm.
And I'll explain it to you.
Break it down.
So, right now, let's start with flips because we both
We
you
both
know,
do that.
We
Yeah.
both do that. I don't do it as crazily as I used to, but I pick more profitable stuff, and I take that and anything else that comes along. If we get it under contract, we'll wholesale it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I have a wholesaling side, but we only facilitate that financially. These guys have their own company now, and we get a percentage of everything they close.
Got it.
But we have a certain amount of money sitting in the bank for them to use for. At first, it was double closes
Yeah.
and EMDs.
EMDs.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
But now it's all EMDs. So,
Yeah.
but let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So, the way I do it now is I do flips that make a lot of money. You know, we try to do stuff over $100,000, more than that now, because now it seems like $100,000 isn't that much. And that drives our investment money business. We invest in rentals. A lot of times we get that without any money of our own through private money. And I'm not suggesting people do private money
Right,
until
right.
they're really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And then we are real estate agents, and that is the money that we tend to live on. So we make money two ways as real estate agents. So last year alone, we saved about $250,000 in $300,000 in commissions just by listing our own properties. And you might think, well, God, that's so much work listing a property. Nope, we got a good transaction coordinator that's also licensed. I list the properties, but her phone number pops up on MLS.
So you're not really
So
doing
She
much.
takes all the calls.
How dare you say that? I am very organized and very detail
That's
oriented.
very, very smart.
Yeah, I'm so smart. So I found someone to take over the stuff that I
The
don't
in and
want to
outs
do.
of the day. Yeah, yeah.
And then Yuko U handles deed transfers.
Mm-hmm.
Yuko M, my wife, oversees the closings. Okay, but she doesn't dive too deeply into them. She doesn't put a lot of time into it. So,
Okay.
so basically, the closing statement is her baby, and she makes sure that You know, if
Solid.
we get charged $6 too much, she's going to make a phone
She
call.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
She's,
And that just trains everybody that works for us not to screw us over
to
by,
think that way.
hey,
Yeah.
you know, we had the fees, the magic fees they put on closing statements.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know, like the closing, I mean, the delivery fees and things like that nothing ever got delivered. Anyway,
Yeah.
she goes through all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we found is when you are a real estate agent, you make good money, especially in the areas we're in, you know, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 commissions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the price
And guess what? If that deal goes bad, what happens? What do we lose? We lose time.
yeah.
We don't lose money. We
Right.
may lose a little bit of money, but just time.
Yeah.
If we have a flip go bad, so in other words, if we're taking everything that comes down the pipeline
Right.
and taking it down and flipping it, we're going to lose money on some of those flips. Well, we don't really lose money on flips anymore now because, I mean, we're going to someday,
Right.
Yeah.
but we're
Right.
more careful with it.
Yeah.
There's bigger spreads.
Yeah.
So our real estate agent business is so important to us, and it's becoming more and more important to us because it gives us more freedom, right? So I don't have, say, $10 million in flips going on at once, and I don't have all that money borrowed, all that money out, all these different projects that I've got to work on and buy appliances for. You know everything that
Yeah,
goes along with it,
totally.
and all the little extras that come up at the end. I just got bills for that today. I still approve every invoice, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Every
Great.
single
Yeah,
invoice.
I
Yeah.
should.
I approve every
Oh
single
yeah,
invoice.
I got magical change orders. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah,
Well, they're asking me when it gets done. There's no change order that's written unless it's approved by me.
Right.
So
right.
it all
Yeah.
has to go through me.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. Our real estate agent income provides a very nice lifestyle for us. I mean, you guys,
Great. That's great.
over the years, we've acquired money and investments and things like
Right,
that
right,
because
right.
we've been pretty conservative.
Yeah.
But you guys know where we live here.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
And where we live in Costa Mesa is a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
And it's a normal neighborhood like yours, but
Right.
we know what houses like this
prices
cost now.
are, yeah.
Yes.
And that real estate income does that for us. The flipping money is money that we would invest in things or send it out. You know, we call it every dollar bill's a little soldier. We send it out to go give
To
more
go work.
soldiers every
Yeah,
day
yeah,
and
yeah.
come back with more.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And then our income from rentals, it's really great some months and not so great other months, but
Yeah.
that alleviates us from having to pay a lot of taxes on the other money we make. So it's
Right.
it's a full
offsets.
circle thing, and
Yeah.
it took us many years to learn it. I'm sure much smarter people that weren't just dumb contractors to begin with would be able to come up with that earlier. But it took me till about 3 years ago to go, you know what? Just buying rentals is silly.
Yeah.
You buy enough to offset your taxes. And eventually, you know, when you retire, you can actually do what I said earlier in the interview, which is take money out
Yeah,
in
live
loans,
off of it,
and your cash flow is going to go up anyway. So
Right.
so that's basically what we do. It's I call it my 3-prong approach.
Yeah.
Three.
Yeah.
Three. It's like three.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. So that works for us. Won't work for everybody.
Right.
But I think every investor should get their real estate license.
Mm.
And I think if anybody out there is interested, you DM me on Instagram and I'll tell you exactly why I feel that way if you guys didn't understand it today.
Yeah.
What
But-
about the liability part of it and like the red tape where you have to disclose that you're an agent and blah, 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 blah? Your brokerage, they have to be investor friendly.
They are.
I guess real is.
Yeah,
Real is.
Real
Yeah,
is
yeah.
very investor friendly,
Yeah.
but we don't do anything that would require us to hide anything.
Yeah,
We don't have
exactly.
to anymore.
Right.
We're not playing games. We're not wholesaling
Yeah.
through real.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we have
That's a
these
whole
guys,
different
it's a
thing.
whole different thing.
Yeah.
And besides the
Interesting.
guys that are doing it, they've got their own company. We're just basically investors at this point.
Right. Right.
And
Do you ever sell for retail clients or it's just your projects?
oh no, our retail clients. We have
Ah.
we mirror Hawaii as far as prices. In
I
our
know.
area
Yeah.
that we work, houses are between 3 and 50 million.
Oh yeah.
50 million.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we don't have to do that many listings to make more money than we make flipping.
Yeah.
But it's a different kind of work.
yeah.
Right? If you've got it set up, and it's so easy to set up. It's not hard. You know, this is not a funny thing too, is we've made so many mistakes. I mean, we can all admit it, right?
100%.
We've lost money, we've made stupid mistakes, and we've gotten arguments over things that didn't matter.
It's facts.
Yes.
Facts.
But what happens over time is you get this like, okay, I did that for a while. and I did this too, and this one worked better, so I'm not going to do that anymore. So I don't add things to the mix unless I take something out of the mix.
Got it.
Right? I'm not that I'm going to do this and this and this.
And
Yeah.
keep adding and
Yeah,
adding and
which
adding.
is what I do. That's the way I always am. It's like I'm going to do this and that and the other. And Yuko always looks at me and it's like, Mark, you're not a multitasker.
Well, multitasking isn't healthy too. Was what they say, and it's not really a real thing.
Well, would you rather concentrate on one business and make a lot of money, or concentrate on a lot of businesses and make a little bit of money from each one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
One
and
business,
I think,
a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's also something that new investors, they get the shiny object syndrome, right? And they want to learn how to do every investment strategy, and they want to do them all. And it's like, no, just do one, get really freaking good at that one thing, and then add another thing to your plate, right?
Yeah. And that's what we did. We found things that we didn't like doing. I don't really like wholesaling anymore. I mean, if I've got a good deal, but I can't take it down because I'm too busy or it's out of my area or the spread isn't what I like, then I'll call up one of my 250 friends.
Right.
Be like, hey, I got a deal for you.
Do you want
I've
it?
got a deal.
Yeah.
I don't actively go out, and I'm not an active wholesaler anymore.
Right.
I used to. I like the idea of wholesaling. I just see the writing is on the wall. It's like Airbnb here in Hawaii. We made a lot of money with it. Then we lost a lot of money with it when it became. It's always when it became regulated.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the same thing's going to happen with wholesaling.
Right.
And it just happened in Oregon where
It's slowly happening.
Yeah.
Yep,
It is
all over.
regulations, just ruining real estate.
So why do we concentrate on things? Because it's the flavor of the day. It's like Airbnb's out in Joshua Tree. I have one. Damn it! It was a flip that took too long and went to 600,000 and down to 400.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, so now we have an Airbnb. If you
Now
guys
we
want to
got
stay
an
in
Airbnb
Joshua
in
Tree,
I do.
Oh, go stay.
I've never been there.
all right. Well, then you need to do it quick because I just put it up for sale.
Oh,
There you go.
shit. Come on.
Oh, it'll take a couple months to sell. So no, if you guys want to fly over, and you guys are welcome to stay.
Oh,
there.
nice.
That would be really
It's
fun.
it's kind of cool for a couple of days.
Yeah, for
But
a
then
couple
it's
of days,
then
right?
it's the desert.
Then it's
Yeah.
the desert.
So
But why was it so popular? Because I remember that
Oh
trend
my
where
gosh.
everybody
because everybody in LA wanted to buy a cowboy hat and boots,
okay.
and the women get the big hats the women
yeah.
wear, and
Yeah.
the Joshua Tree hats. Yeah. And you go out there. I still go out there every once in a while. Everybody's still dressed the same way.
Really?
Guys will go
That's
out there. It's like
crazy.
you just look so stupid.
Yeah.
God bless you for staying in my place, but you look stupid. I'm sorry to the Joshua
That
Tree
is
people.
classic.
No, but it's fun. I think what it is, it's like a costume party for people, and they get
Like a
off
little
on it.
gateway,
And,
getaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, escape.
So it's close to LA, 2 hours away.
Exactly,
So it's a world apart.
yeah.
But
It's
So-
my brother people.
let's bring it home. Let's bring it home.
Yeah.
Concentrate on one thing, get good at it. Don't be like me. Learn from the mistakes that I have made, learn from the mistakes that you guys have made.
Yeah.
That's what you
Quickly.
guys are here for.
100%.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Learn from
Yeah.
them quickly.
Yeah. Don't think just because you're doing it and you might be better at us than something that you're not going to have the same problems that we had, because more than likely
You will.
You will.
You will.
So when we tell you, "Oh my God, we did this, we'll never do it again," you got to listen because it's important. This can cost you your marriage, and you guys said it earlier: your marriage, your cars, your
Yep.
life,
100%.
and it's not worth it.
Your mental health, your emotional
So-
health.
Find what works, hone it,
Yeah.
perfect it,
Yeah.
and live your life.
I agree.
Live your life. I golf.
agree, man.
I golf and I do some real estate. I fish and I do some real estate. I travel. I'm going to go to Japan on Wednesday for 2 weeks.
Oh,
Everyone
nice.
I know is going to Japan.
I know
right
it sucks.
now. Every
know it
single freaking
Is it
person
cherry
I
blossom
know.
season?
It's not just cherry blossom season, just Japan is so
So
popular
cool
right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just super, super popular.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I mean, when's the first time you went to Japan?
16 years ago. We go
Okay,
every
yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
her parents are still there and
Yeah.
cousins and whatnot. So
Yeah.
her brother lives here. He's a pilot for Hawaiian.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
cool.
Oh, okay.
Hawaiian Airlines. Are they getting better? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but they just released
But they're
a
not
new
Hawaiian
plane.
Airlines, are they anymore? Or they are?
They are
but,
Hawaiian
but
Airlines,
they're
yeah.
owned
Oh, I
by-
mean, they're
Alaska,
owned by-
Alaska's buying them.
Yeah.
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 But it could be a good thing.
yeah.
Balance. Sounds great, right? We all try to do it.
Right.
Try.
We do. We do. We try diligently to balance life,
Yeah.
but we end up working more than we should.
Yes.
But we don't make more money
Why is that?
because we're not working smart, which is, and I know it's such a common thing to say, you're not working smart.
Yeah.
But we're chasing everything, hoping that something's going to stick instead of just sticking with one thing and making it stick. I think like even real estate agents, they, it's like I'm going to do an online presence, and I'm going to knock on doors, and I'm going to send postcards, and I'm going to do a newsletter, and I'm going to do open houses, and I'm going to do this and that and the other. Fuck that shit.
It's a
Seriously.
lot. It's a lot.
Be an open house expert. Be a postcard. Do
Just
something
get good
and
at
just
one
hone it.
Crush it.
thing.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
thing.
Be the guy that's known for that or the girl that's known
Mm.
for that, and you will do well. It will take you 6 months.
Yeah.
This first deal, real estate, it's going to take you 6 months
Yeah.
At
to
least.
find a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
How people
Do
give
you?
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
How people
Makes
give
sense.
up just way too soon.
Oh, yeah.
Way too soon.
They give up the day before they succeed.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
always give up the day
Well,
before
they,
they
before it's
succeed.
they
around
think
the
they're going to
corner.
join a mentorship. They're going to learn some things. They're going to try for like a month, maybe 2 months. And then because it didn't work, they give up and waste all that time, energy, and money. And it's like,
Or they switch to the next thing.
or
Oh, no, they
switch
buy
to
another
the
course.
next
do.
thing.
Yeah,
They buy
yeah,
another
they
course.
buy another course.
Well,
Because
that was
one didn't work.
well, that one works, but it's too hard. It's too hard. They want me to knock on doors. They want me to go out
want
and
me to
drive around and
cold
talk to people.
call?
Cold call? That's
Yeah.
scary. I don't do that anymore either, but I did.
What marketing are you doing right now, if any?
Every deal I get is relationship based.
Love
So
it.
when I had courses available, and you guys know that. So I had my flipping / course,
Yep, yep.
and then I also have a course for real estate agents. And I'm not touting my courses because I don't do them anymore. In fact, I give them away,
Yeah.
and I used to charge a lot of money for it. But if you're looking for a gimmick in this business, you ain't gonna find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna find it. So
No.
our relationship based lead generator is by far the best thing we've
Best.
ever done.
I think
Yeah.
us too, right?
Yeah.
If
Very
you-
similar.
If you want to make money in this business, get to know real estate agents. Be a real estate agent. I know I don't mean to keep saying it, but this
Yeah.
is what has worked best for us. And like I said, I saw your eyes go wide when I said we saved $300,000 last year
Yeah.
listing our own homes,
Yeah.
taking no time.
Yeah. I know.
And then we listed homes for people too. I got a triple off someone. I did an open house a couple of years ago, and these people became really dear friends of ours. We travel with them all over the world,
Love that.
and they ended up selling that house last year and bought another house. And these are all in the same neighborhood, 3 million plus houses.
Yeah.
And I love them. They're one of our best friends. And this is the magic of doing what we do.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it long enough to know exactly what works.
Yeah.
So the relationships that we get from people that are buying from us, the people that we're listing houses for,
Right.
attorneys,
Yeah.
real estate agents, attorneys. And I've got a bunch of other stuff that I'm not going to say because I don't want people to go, well, I'm going to try it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start off with real estate
Just
agents.
don't overwhelm
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Start off with real estate agents and show them what you can do.
Yeah.
Show them the money.
Yeah.
Buy something.
Yeah.
I 1000% second that for sure. For us, that's exactly what we did in the beginning. And I still say today that relationships that we have with our agents are literally everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
big
do
time.
you guys keep in touch?
Oh, yeah.
the
Have a
time.
drink now and then?
all
Yeah, okay.
all the
Pickleball on
agents that we
Saturdays.
use are like our friends. You know what I mean?
know?
And
Yeah.
we form
Random-
really
Can
strong
we be your
relationships
friends?
with them.
Like, can we be friends?
I'll bring you some deals.
Let's be friends.
Do I get the listings?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
All right.
You know what's crazy that I want to talk about that just randomly popped in my head is the fact that you invest in two of the most expensive places probably close to being on the planet.
Yep.
California
And Hawaii.
And Hawaii. Did people tell you you're nuts?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what has helped you overcome? I mean, you're from California, I'm assuming, right? So like you don't know anything different. We're from
Right.
Hawaii. We don't know anything different. So it was never a thought of like, oh my God, it's an expensive market.
Yeah.
But we were, especially with the show exposure, right? Showing what shit costs
I
here.
love, by the way, you guys,
Yes.
I love your show.
Right
Thank you
on.
so much.
Yeah.
But
It's
they're
good.
like, you're buying that shithole for that amount of money. We're like, that's a really good deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, there's, I think, a mental block for a lot of people that you can't invest in an expensive market, or why are you choosing to invest in such a difficult market?
Because, well, we were blessed with not knowing any better, just like you guys.
Yeah.
And I think most people that say, well, it's not going to work in my market, you may as well not invest.
Yeah.
You know, if you go in with that attitude, you're going to fail anyway.
Yeah. No matter
Have the
where
right
you
attitude.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah,
So you
make-
got to work on that before you even take
Yeah.
any tactical application.
Toot, toot, let's jump on the excuse train.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys in our workout group every morning. It's like someone else, like, oh my God, another 100 burpees. And it's like, yeah. You know, he'll go choo choo. There's the excuse train, and it's like, you know,
100 burpees sounds hard. 20 is.
I know you guys.
rough.
I always see you guys.
I
doing
always see you working
CrossFit.
out.
Is it
Yeah.
CrossFit?
Yeah.
I
Are you a
know. You guys
CrossFit
are
addict?
crazy.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
One of
that's cool.
our investor business partners in Florida, she's a CrossFit junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
I'm pretty good,
Yeah.
but I belong to UFC gym.
Okay.
So there's one just down the street from our place here.
Yeah.
Well, from
here.
From
Yeah.
here too. BJ
Yeah.
Penn has
Yeah.
one
Right.
here, and there's one over in
Oh,
Kaka'ako
right,
too.
right.
And they haven't torn it down, which is nice.
Right.
So I went to their class today, which is not as hard as the class I usually take, but it was hard.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
our class is hard, but that's my mental space every day. I dread going every morning at 5:30, and we get done with it, and it's the most
like,
awesome
The
thing.
So
best
glad I
feeling
went.
in the world.
So good. And then we all go to the sauna. Girls
Yeah.
go to theirs, boys go to theirs,
Yeah.
and we go in there and just.
Just
Talk
And
story.
I'm not Mark
Yeah.
McMahon, the real estate guy.
Yeah.
You know,
You're just
I'm just
Mark.
Mark, and
Yeah.
I pretty much, you know,
Yeah.
I'm a conversation taker over when it comes to my trade, which is real estate.
Right.
But when I'm sitting in a room full of guys like that, I can let go and just be Mark, the quiet guy.
It's so
Yeah,
nice.
that's cool.
That's
Yeah, that
so
is cool.
nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
So yeah, I
That's
love
awesome.
It. So go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Campfire real estate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen
What
you've
is
been
it?
doing that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a really long
All
time.
Long time.
How did you meet those guys?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, such a good story.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for asking.
Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys remember Rick Jarman?
Why does it
I
sound
know,
very
dude,
familiar?
Big dude. He's a Southern gentleman. He's from Alabama, Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
where
that's
my
where-
cousin's from.
Okay, then he probably knows him or her.
That's crazy.
So Rick and I, he's very popular. Before he passed away during COVID from COVID.
Oh no
So
way.
we had a show every Tuesday night for about a year and a half.
I think I remember.
Yeah,
you
if you
on
saw
that.
Rick,
Yeah.
he's always had a cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super, just the most genuine, lovely person. And somehow we got to know each other online.
Yeah.
We never met in person.
no way.
We literally became
It's kind of like us.
best friends. Yeah, no, same
Yeah.
thing, same
That's
thing.
crazy.
But we literally became best friends. I mean, I knew his family, he knew my family. He would send us gifts, I'd send him gifts. We never met each other because during COVID we couldn't travel.
can't.
Right.
And then he passed away.
Yeah.
But he introduced me to so many people that were interesting that I wouldn't have normally followed because back in that time, I was looking for the people that were like taking off.
Right.
And these guys were Welby Astley. It was Dan Barrero and Gerald Peters. These guys, vastly different backgrounds. All of us
Yeah.
have a big. It's so different.
Yeah.
The way we run our businesses
is
and everything.
So cool.
It crushes it. It
Yeah.
crushes it. It's one of those things where we get on there and it's like, oh my God, I learned something new again.
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
And I,
that's
Different
so cool.
perspectives. That's
Yeah.
so refreshing.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Dan's this anal guy, and he'll laugh when he hears this. He doesn't own any money on his properties. He does all of his own tax returns, and he's
Wow.
extremely successful. He owns
Yeah.
a lot of New York real estate.
Wow.
A lot of
New
Florida
York,
real
talk
estate.
about a expensive
So,
market.
so he
awesome.
started investing in the Bronx before it was a thing, and now the Bronx
Everybody is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah,
Bronx
so,
are.
so
yeah.
he owns all that property.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Welby invests in Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
and he and I were friends with Rick.
Mm-hmm.
He introduced us. Dan was friends with Rick. He introduced us. Gerald Peters, who is really famous in the stock market world,
Okay.
takes all of his earnings and buys real estate. He introduced me to Gerald too. And after Rick passed, I got this thought in my head, these guys are great. And then one of the guys that was helping me with my online presence
The dreaded online.
I know. I feel so silly, but yeah, here we are because I love it. I love
Yeah.
doing
I
this.
mean,
Totally.
it's your walking billboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, my white T-shirt, and my hat. But he introduced us all. So, and I can't remember who precipitated it. It was George had the idea, and I said, well, let me talk to Welby.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, who should we invite? Well, Dan. Dan's
Yeah,
good. And
yeah.
what about Gerald? Gerald's completely different than us. Yes, let's
So
do that.
good.
That's
Yeah.
so good.
And so, we usually get 1,000+ people on our weekly
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
And not to toot our own horn, but we do exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about the truth
Yeah.
about real estate.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what is really happening? Not all right, guys, you need to get more doors and do this and that and the other. Not that stuff.
Yeah.
It's real life older guys that have made a lot of mistakes. People don't celebrate wins.
Yes.
No.
People like
don't.
us don't celebrate
No, we
wins. It's
don't.
like, what's
No.
next?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to stop.
I know.
You've got to stop and celebrate because otherwise there's no value to what you're doing.
Why
you
are
are
you even
doing
it?
nothing.
Exactly.
You're accomplishing nothing.
know. I
Money in the
know.
bank means nothing.
I know.
So, I mean,
And
peace of mind it brings, but it's not
It
what's
has to be in
important.
conjunction with,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the balance that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's so important to figure that one out. It's different
I know.
for everybody.
That's like a whole, that could get into very deep.
No, it could,
100%,
and
yeah.
it's not really exciting to talk about
No.
because a lot of people that are watching the
They
show,
want all the tactical stuff.
well, they have to have it because they're not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
yeah.
wouldn't be watching us if they had it.
right.
Right.
They'd be out doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
I think it's important to set them up for success, not failure,
Yes.
and know what's
Getting
ahead of
into.
them.
Yeah.
Know what's ahead of them.
Yep.
Exactly.
But know the good parts of it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And learn how to see those good parts because most people never
Never see
it.
them. They never get there.
I want you
Yeah.
guys, your assignment is to celebrate your wins from now on.
Yeah.
Celebrate. Go to dinner. Go to walk on the beach and go high five each other.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
That
Good job.
sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does.
That is such a miserable
It
existence.
does.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how uncomfortable it was to throw a party for yourself. We threw a party for ourselves for the reveal of the show, the premiere. And that
Think my invitation must have gotten lost in the mail. Damn it.
I know.
We've been
my-
having trouble.
It's my literal
It was
300
the
plus
most
family
uncomfortable thing
members.
ever.
Because you
Because we
felt
don't-
like you were bragging.
Because you feel like you're bagging and we're not used to celebrating
Yeah,
how
yeah,
many
yeah, yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you need to get used to that, and it can be very personal. It's not something you share with other people because
That
then it
too.
is like, oh, look at me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
But for the show, it's different. You need to launch that.
You need to go
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
So
to go
we
big.
were like just juggling both, right? We're like, no, we got to market it, but like this is huge for us. You know,
Yeah.
if we don't do this, we're not going to celebrate it at all. Or
No.
it's just
No,
going to
no.
be another Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's another
We know.
show. We're done.
Yeah,
because it's not
exactly.
exciting anymore.
Right.
It's just another thing.
Yeah.
And everything in work we do is just another thing. But if we don't celebrate,
Yeah.
if we don't
Yeah.
take time to celebrate a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit, like I said, a walk
Exactly.
on the beach,
Yeah.
a glass of wine,
Yeah.
even a high five.
Just the little things make a
Yeah.
big difference.
Yeah.
It's-
I mean-
it could be a massage for me.
Yeah.
I'm all
Did
for the
you?
massage.
Are you a massage guy?
I love massages.
I never got a
Love
massage until a couple
massages.
years ago.
Really?
Oh my God, I love them.
They're
We have a massage
amazing.
person now.
I never
They're
got him until she
amazing.
turned me on to
Yeah.
him when
They
we
are
met like 12
everything
years
in
ago.
life.
And yeah, now we're definitely massage people.
Yeah, yeah, it's so hoity-toity, but
Yeah.
we have a girl that comes to the house,
Good.
and
Yeah. Love
yeah,
that.
it was a friend of ours that just happens to do that, and it's like,
Perfect.
You got to get the good Thai ones, though.
she's Japanese.
Oh, there you
The
go.
Thai ones that walk on your back and
There's a-
stretch you.
In
and-
Laguna Beach, there's a
Oh,
place
man.
where they've got the bar above, that
Yeah.
they walk on you.
Oh,
Walk
yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the
We did
whole
that
thing.
in
We did that in Arizona.
Arizona, yeah.
Yeah, I always make sure it's a couple's massage there, though, because I'm
You just
always a
never
little
know.
concerned.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned and a little curious, so
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
Ours was the couples.
that's
massage.
not my
it was.
knee.
Yeah.
Ah,
is going
I know,
on
I
there?
know.
It's so funny.
I know. Well,
That's
we,
so funny.
we did a workout the other day that was like real heavy glute workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a massage that night. It was like amazing. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just get the glutes.
Just get
Yeah.
in there. Just get on in there. I know. I always say, nope, touch me wherever.
yeah. I'm married. I don't care.
Yeah, like, nope, he's right over there. Please touch
Yeah,
me wherever.
yeah.
So, what impact do you hope to leave with the audience? What do you want to leave people with?
Hope.
Hope. Yeah, I love that.
Hope. They're me getting emotional again. There's so many people out there that don't have any hope. They've lost hope. Either they didn't ever have it, or something smacked them in the ass or in the head or somewhere else, and they've lost hope. And it doesn't matter what happens. I mean, there's always a way to get out of something.
Yeah.
Things pass. I have a saying, and I didn't hear it from anybody else. I think this is original,
Okay.
but someone's going to call me on it. I'm okay with that. 95% of the problems that we have, the perception of problems that we have, aren't really problems. They never come to fruition, right?
Yeah,
Only 5%
totally.
do.
Yeah.
Do you know which 5% are going to come to fruition?
No.
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 Why do we worry about the 95%? Why do we worry about any problems? Most of them don't happen.
Yeah.
I know.
Even really big
know.
financial things, it's like, oh my God, I got this loan due, I got that, this house isn't going well, this happened. 6 months later, you forget about it because it wasn't that bad. And
Yeah.
all the stuff you
And it
dreamed about didn't happen.
passed.
Yeah.
It did. Went past.
Passed.
Every problem passes.
Yeah. That's
Emotions
so
are
true.
fleeting.
That's
They come
so
and they
true.
go. So
Yeah.
you can't make rash decisions on that one moment where you're
So
feeling
true.
it,
Yeah.
you know?
So true. Count to 10.
So good.
Yeah. I
Count
love
to
that.
10, sleep on it.
That's a good one.
So good.
And one other thing I want to give people, like, so how often do you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and your brain just kicks right into gear and it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, you get a cold sweat and it's like, okay, all right, I got this ahead of me today and it's like, this is not going to be good. If you literally stand the fuck up, it melts away. You lay there, I don't know what it is.
Just keeps
You'll
going.
do the
Building,
mahi, just
building,
boom, boom, boom,
building.
boom,
It's
yeah.
awful, and you're
Yeah.
sweaty, and you
It's
get like you've got
horrible.
greasy sweat,
Yeah.
and it's
Totally.
and your heart's going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Ah.
Stand up. And if you want to write it down, write it down.
Yeah.
But just stand up for 5 minutes and think about it. And it's like, wait a second. I went to bed last night. I was able to go to sleep.
I was
Yeah.
able to go to
Yeah.
sleep.
Why is it that 3 o'clock in the morning makes all this stuff?
Sure,
Why
yeah.
is it? Stand
Tripping
up
out.
for a minute, go back to bed.
Love that.
Because, like, you
For
shock
me-
your body
for
to
me,
change.
it-
that.
But the important thing, though, is at my age, you have to pee also.
Do both.
If you're pregnant or 61, you're going to be peeing.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's
Well,
so
where
true.
can people find you?
Yeah, where
Because
can
you're a
people
hoot,
find
and
you?
people need to find you.
I am at Mark McMahon Real Estate on Instagram, Mark McMahon Real Estate on YouTube. I believe it's Mark McMahon Real Estate on what's that other one?
TikTok.
TikTok?
That's the one.
That's the
or
one.
I don't-
Facebook?
I don't post on there anymore. Facebook is just a crossover from
Yeah.
Instagram,
Instagram.
yeah.
So if you guys are interested in doing what I do, follow me, DM me, say, look, Mark, I'm interested in this real estate thing because that is my thing now. I want more people to get licensed. And look, if you're not interested in that, I've got 3,000 videos on
other
Instagram,
things,
and I've
yeah.
got 300 videos, 500 videos on YouTube, and it's all nuts and bolts of investing.
So good.
It's years and years of putting stuff out.
Yeah.
So whatever I've got to say, I'm pretty much repeating at this point.
Yeah.
So you can go back and listen to it if you want to. If you don't want to, that's cool too.
That's cool.
And I don't have anything to sell. I've got nothing
love
to
it.
sell. But hit me up if you guys want to be real estate agents, because that is the one thing that is near and dear to my heart that really has saved our asses over the years.
A lot of times.
Is the income from that or the savings from that.
Love that.
And most people will
That-
never
we'll
do
miss
it.
that, I know.
And it's not hard to get your real estate license. It's literally studying for a couple of days, really,
Yeah.
taking a test and you know, and then we'll talk about what you do after that. But
There you go. Well, yeah, I appreciate having you on the show.
I appreciate you
Thank you
guys.
so
Fun.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
And this has been like a long time coming, I feel.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
It
feel,
has.
It has.
Yeah.
I think we're finally connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right
I
We were
on.
a
agree.
little
Well, thank you
busy
guys.
last year, but
No, you guys are always busy, but
Yeah.
like I
But-
said, it comes
but
back to spending
we're-
time with
dude,
things
we're
that you want to
always-
do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like we're
exactly.
always busy. There's always
be there
going to be
tomorrow.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
always, you got to make
give it
time for
time.
the things that matter.
Yeah. Oh, and the kids.
Oh, and the kids. Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't meet them. I'm such a good uncle.
I bet.
I saw with Biggie.
With Biggie.
I wind them up
everything.
and I leave. It's like, woo!
That's the best part about
Yeah.
uncle status.
I bring
know.
presents, I bring food,
Yeah.
and then
Sugar.
I leave.
Sugar 'em up, and then all right, I'm out. Here you
Not
go.
my dealio. I've got a niece and nephew here, they live in Waikiki, and so yeah, I always bring them
That's
presents. And hang out with them for the day, and then they come
Favorite
spend the night
uncle.
with us.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fun.
That's great.
It's fun.
Speaking of which, I probably need to go. I'm coming, Mom. I'm coming.
Promise,
Yeah.
promise. All right, guys. We'll
All right.
see you next time.
Peace out.
Aloha.
Thanks, guys.